what's in your lunch? What's in your lunch? You know, and I just got like basically like candy in my lunch because it was like Halloween or something, and there was like nothing in the refrigerator. And my mom was like, I don't know what my mom was doing for a living at this time, and I cannot confirm or deny what I'm about to say, but one of her employees later in life told me that she was like a porn, or like not a porn, a sex toy, or sex toy, an actual like toys, like board games and candles shaped like this, the salesperson for this kind of. I don't know if that's true or not. We did have a bunch of weird like that, not a bunch, a few weird things like that in our like little storage area. So I don't know. But anyway, mother wasn't around. I remember a lot that when I went to bed or got home. But in the mornings, she would take me to a TriMet, which a TriMet is a local public transit system to Portland and surrounding areas. It actually goes out pretty far into rural areas with buses. So, I mean, we're talking about, I lived in Oregon City, and this school was in Molalla. Get on the bus, ride the bus out to a corner that was just like the corner the school was on, but the school was like a mile or something down that road. So then there was a parent that was on some sort of volunteer thing that was then running a shuttle. So they'd run the shuttle between where the TriMet would drop off and the school. This shuttle had rules about bringing a book. Okay? And if you didn't bring a book to read while you were waiting for the shuttle or for the TriMet, either way, in the morning or in the night, then this would be like a strike against you. And then, you know, so many strikes, I don't know, it might even just been once. There were so many strikes, then you couldn't ride the shuttle. I was forgetting throughout the year, I'd forget. So the school year progressed. This is my second grade. And it's, you know, it's probably not going well. And then this happened. So I'm at the school. Oh, at some point my dad just showed up to the school to see me one day too. Like I hadn't seen him since he'd been shot. And then just one day he was at the school. And it, you know, it's kind of got a little dramatic, you know, because there was all this like, oh. And it was the 70s, so it wasn't like you could just, you know, text somebody and find out what's going on, you know. So at this school, you know, music class, basically it was like you go and you'd pick an instrument up and you'd play with it. But then there's the dreaded weaving class. Okay, so we all had chores in the school. And every, whatever, week or something, like you'd be assigned to a different area to do chores, right? So I was put on like the weaving department one week, right? And for some reason, I just freaking enjoyed organizing the yarn. Like, don't know why. So then I asked and I got put on it again the following week, and I was super happy. Well, what I had done was, if you know yarn, yes, to all you yarn fans out there, it comes in these bundles, and they're kind of like shaped like oblong, and they got this paper around them, and then you like take that paper off and they come apart or something. There's a special way to do it. Well, I'm just a kid. I'm organizing stuff. I'm taking the yarn out of all the paper, right? I'm unpacking it all. Just simply tearing the paper off and then putting it on the shelf, not in the paper, right? So I did this to all this yarn, right? And then I like come back like a day or two later, something like this, and literally every single bundle of yarn has been picked up and just like this, like just pulled and pulled, and it just turned into a mess. And they blame it on me. And so this was the end of my second grade year at this hippie commune school was spent like this. I'd forgotten books so many times I was permanently kicked off. But the permanently kicked off happened because it was like, I was so, okay, so here's my day, right? All this stuff, and get up and the packing of the lunches and the trimets and all this, right? Get out to there, not allowed to get on the thing, so now I have to walk from where the trimet drops all the way to the school in the morning, right? Okay, get to the school. Now, as soon as I'm at the school, my entirety of my day spent at the end of this school year, I don't know how exactly long, but the entirety of my day was spent unknotting yarn. So all that yarn that had been turned in knots, seemingly like overnight or something like that, and it was like whoever did it, they did it to all of them. They didn't just like, oh, when I do this it messes stuff up. No, they just like did the whole thing, which kind of leads me to believe it was one of the teachers, this one lady in particular, that was just like the leader lady that was just, I don't want to sound like a sexist or racist, or she was white, so it didn't sound racist, but she was just I was a little kid, and she was I feel like she was picking on me a lot, what's in your lunch, and I just got like basically like candy in my lunch because it was like Halloween or something, and there was like nothing in the refrigerator because my mom didn't freaking put food in the refrigerator that you could, like no sandwich stuff or whatever, This was just a constant thing with this one teacher in particular. So that's who I think did the yarn. Who makes a little kid spend their days unknotting yarn for, I don't even know how long this lasted, right? So I unknot the yarn all day, eat my crappy little lunch. I don't even think I was allowed to eat lunch with everybody else. I think I was just like kept in the room by myself, and I spent all day in there, and I ate in there, and I did everything in there. So, and then I'd walk home, and it was through rural farmland. I mean, sometimes I'd see a freaking mobile slaughterer fucking processing a cow, or all kinds of freaking weird things in the time that it took me to walk from one end of that street to the other. And yeah, so that was my life there at the end of the second grade. And one time I fell asleep on that TriMet bus going home, and that one TriMet bus went from even further than Malala. Like, it went out past Malala. I don't even know where it went to. But it went from all the way from there, all the way to downtown Portland. Well, I fell asleep and woke up in downtown Portland. The strange thing is I remember, the bus driver giving me the directions very specifically. Wait for 2 buses and get on the second one of this number you see when you're standing over here in this other place, right? Well, I remember him telling me that. I remember counting the second bus, and then I end up in Portland. It was like it just didn't make sense or something, or it didn't say the right thing, and then I lost count, and so I actually don't remember ever leaving Portland. I have no idea, how I got out of that situation. I remember waking up. I guess I went into some kind of panic mode or something, but I remember all this other stuff about it. But then for some reason, being rescued, I don't remember how that all transpired. But my grandma says somebody picked me up. I feel like that school was a lame ass school. Bad concepts. So I was in psychologist type of situation for seeing the shooting, and then now it was like, the school thing. So they started testing me to see, like, is he good to go on into the 3rd grade or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, that school year's over. And then I guess my dad was all better. And then he got me for a visitation. And oh boy, did we do fun stuff. I don't even remember, but it had to have been. I mean, my dad would do hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, real deal, roughing it style, backpack stuff. But I don't remember it specifically, but my dad was, like I said, a slime ball. So I would imagine that he probably took me
the exit
to the fanciest thing he could, and then he's like, oh, who do you want to live with? Do you want to live with me or your mom? Oh, I want to live with you. And then, of course, he gets right on the phone, and then he's like, here, tell your mother right now on the phone. And then, to find out later that my stepdad had been waiting to hook up with my mom until I was gone. Like, my stepdad just, again, I guess he thought I was a dick. And the stories we're going to get into about what he thinks about me and how he tried to put what he thinks about me onto me, and how wrong he is, and how he's scared of me now today because he knows that the completely mentally deranged bullshit that he came up with was just uncalled for, and that you put that you say that about somebody and you're anyway, that's a whole nother story.